One of the biggest events in NXT all year is only days away, and it is the final countdown. We're going to be talking about the final episode of NXT before TakeOver New Orleans. It's the NXT After Show on AfterBuzz TV, and it starts right now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Feel it, feel it, feel it. The emotion, the metal, the terrible scream activated. That's a different show. Whoops, that's not a callback. Boop. I'm going to do that so I can be a little bit closer to the microphone. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the NXT After Show right here on AfterBuzz TV. I am the Internet's Mark Donica, and I'm running it a little bit solo today because I am the last of the hashtag NXT team to make it to New Orleans. This week is the biggest weekend in wrestling. Not only do we have amazing WWE events, but we have other events all throughout Bourbon Street and the New Orleans area. And we're here to talk about one of those events, and that is NXT and NXT TakeOver. Thank you to all of the fine folks who are joining us live in chat. Dang MQ, Pepsi Fan 24, Don Dorian, Slanderous Mambo, Sharkosaur, Kyle Franklin, and we may have a special guest in chat anyway. Just freaked out my engineer. We may have a special guest in chat who's going to be coming along from the Bourbon streets, as it were. Hopefully, the person in question not drunk off bourbon. But this is going to be a pretty short show. We actually did some takeover discussion on today's episode of X-Pac 12360, which you can check out right now on your podcast network of choice, as well as on this very network on AfterBuzz TV Wrestling. If you want the video component, because I do a little bit of the bibbles and the bobbles and the snaz. I'm so tired. I was trying to stay relatively professional the whole time, and you know what? Might as well stop now. But we did do some discussion about NXT TakeOver on X-Pac 12360 today, as well as talk to our guest, Cody Rhodes. That was an amazing get. But yes, make sure to check out this week's episode of X-Pac 12360 with Cody Rhodes before WrestleMania, so that you can hear what all of Sean's and myself and Jimbo's and Denise's thoughts on WrestleMania 34 and TakeOver. But let's get going with the show. They started out by letting us know that Bobby Fish has indeed been injured. They tease what's going to happen with the tag team division, what's going to happen with the tag team classic, now that the prize of being able to face the tag team champions might be off the table. The first match of the night was the Authors of Pain versus Dunn and Strong. Now, it being TV, it being right before WrestleMania, it being right before TakeOver, I didn't know what to expect from this match. This was technically the finals of the Dusty Road Tag Team Classic, and as Bill and I have discussed on previous episodes, this entire Dusty Classic has felt a little thrown together, and just a reason, just an excuse to build a story for the tag team division, when I think the division is strong enough to not necessarily need that. But it had been a minute, it made sense, great. But this final, and folks in chat, help me out, let me know what you thought of the final right now, or if you're watching after the fact, make sure to leave a comment down below. Roderick and Dunn, off the bat, they were definitely fighting up. They were definitely fighting up from below, and once we got back from the first commercial, Pete Dunne didn't care. He was like Scrappy Doo, in the sense that it didn't matter how big the other folks were. He was gonna tear him to pieces, and he, given the opportunity, he did. Strong and Dunn, or hashtag Potty, as Zeno Hour mentions, but yeah, it's a little weird. It's a little weird how. Sorry, I just got distracted by something in chat. But it's great that Dunn and Strong have come together as this team. And if it was just for the Dusty Cup, that's where I was going with this. If it was just for the Dusty Cup and the title of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, then I could have seen them going all the way. But now with the way that the match ends, of course, the Authors of Pain and Dunn and Strong are all on the ground, and With Style Petite, hi Matt, says Scrappy Doo isn't a compliment, Mark. I didn't say it was a compliment. I'm just saying that that's what it reminded me of. But they were fought upon by the Undisputed Era, attacking both teams, resulting in a double disqualification and nobody winning the Dusty Cup. So as a result, Regal makes a triple threat tag team title match for the Dusty Cup as well as the tag team titles. And the thing that distracted me, properly so, Sharkosaurus said the takeover match will be great, but it's screwed up that Undisputed Era can walk away with the Dusty Cup. I totally agree that it sort of changes the idea of what the Dusty Cup was supposed to represent, and using it like this, not my favorite thing, but it makes me, it doesn't make me think that, because here's the thing is, I think what Undisputed Era is doing with the tag team championships is wonderful, and I think they should stay with the tag team championships, even though Bobby Fish isn't a part of it. But I think putting the tag team titles on Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong is different than them winning the Dusty Cup. Yeah. That's what I don't like about it. Is now that they're getting both, some teams it makes more sense for them to get one thing and not the other. And with the Authors of Pain, if they are in fact being moved up to the main roster, then you know what is their purpose in all of this? Let's see. Don Dorian, but wasn't that a Dusty finish, which sort of makes sense for them to do? Yeah, agreed, totally agree. Pepsi Fan 24, I feel though the titles could overshadow the cup. I totally agree. Well, isn't Team Ring of Honor a thrown together tag team technically? I mean, not necessarily, because this is RE Dragon. They've been a tag team for a long. Think about it in terms of before Bobby Fish got before all of this. Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly as a tag team being the prize for the winners of the Dusty Cup. That made sense. So now it sort of throws everything in disarray. Yeah. Kyle Franklin says, I wanted to see Dunn get his ass kicked. And he was no-selling a lot. Sharkosaur, when will heels learn that attacking the number one contender always result in having to face both parties at the pay-per-view? Well, it wasn't tonight. And Dangam Q says, if Undisputed loses, then Kyle won't be able to air guitar his title. That's right. Maybe he could pick one up from the merch stand and continue to do it. Maria Nett, sucks the UK title won't be defended on TakeOver unless you count the Access Tournament matches, which I am going to bring up and talk about at the end of the show. But yeah, this is sort of a do what you can with what you got, and we're going to get a sweet match out of it. And ultimately, I would like to see... no, we'll talk about that later. We got to look at Gargano versus Ciampa. Kairi Sane versus Vanessa Bourne was an interesting match in the sense that Vanessa Bourne, she's been sort of increasingly getting more and more breakneck and just more abusive, I suppose would be the way to put it. But she was not giving Kairi an inch. Kairi had to take everything that she got in that match, and she deserved the win. There's a big stomp in the corner that wasn't quite in the Tree of Woe position, followed by an insane elbow for the win. This was sort of to keep the idea that Kairi Sane wants to be in title contention, and this win helps with that, which is great. But after this, we got a scrum interview, which is what they're called, from I'm totally blanking. Lacey Evans. Some of these quotes were wild. There's nothing I can accomplish until Regal stops allowing societal trash. I have done nothing but show the entire world what a strong woman should be. She talks down as many members of the women's roster as the reporters bring up, but ultimately wants to take Kairi Sane's position near the top of the women's division. So as a result, next week we're going to see Kairi Sane versus Lacey Evans, which I hope is a good match, and I'm pretty sure it will be. I've always been a fan of Lacey's work and giving her the opportunity to work with Kairi Sane. Not as excited as I was for Bianca Belair and Kairi Sane during the Mae Young Classic, but this is pretty great. Let's see. A lot of, to say the least, a lot of pro Vanessa Bourne comments in chat. Vanessa Bourne, no relation to Evan, correct. The Bourne is spelled a little bit differently. Oh, and that was another thing. Thank you for reminding me, Shark Osor. Talking down Nikki Cross because she's like a wild person that gets all of the opportunities that other people deserve, notably her. But she's a lady. Whoa. Don Dorian mentions, hasn't Lacey lost every match this year so far? Yeah, but she hasn't been in much, so there is that. At least she didn't get her arm broken by Shayna Baszler. In the back, Undisputed Era starts complaining to Regal, and he gives them 3 options. One, because Adam is going to be, if Adam takes part in the tag team title match like we had mentioned previously, then he's going to be wrestling 2 matches, including one being in a ladder match. So it's 3 choices. Either Adam wrestles 2 matches, he makes Kyle wrestle alone, or Adam removes himself from the North American title match. Ooh boy, what's going to happen? We don't know. It happens on Saturday. We get another package for Aleister Black and Andrade. Wow. Andrade Almas and Aleister Black, Ember Moon and Shayna Baszler. Excuse me. And the confirmation of Lacey Evans versus Kairi Sane. The main event of the evening was Lars Sullivan versus Killian Dane. And man, oh boy, do I want to see... I mean, going into this match, we know there's a multi-man match coming up. I didn't expect much from it, especially when we had 10 minutes left and probably one more commercial break to go, which we took. But I loved seeing these two tear the crap out of each other. I love when anybody that's sort of on equal footing goes for it, and Killian Dane and Lars Sullivan did. And is it just me, or whenever Killian Dane like sort of exerts, does efforts, if you will, if you're familiar with the term, familiar with the voiceover vernacular, it sounds like he's saying yeet. So when so when he had Lars Sullivan on his back and he just throws him straight down, it sounded like he went yeet, and I was, oh man, that really got me. I was laughing for a good little minute. Kyle Franklin thinks that Cole's going to pull double duty. Totally agree. Pepsi fan, it feels like the tag title match will open the show with that situation. Zeno Hour, Regal didn't screw Undisputed Era. Undisputed Era screwed Undisputed Era. And Maria Net is right. A Haas fight. I'm a big fan of a Haas fight. And coming back from commercial and seeing Lars Sullivan have Killian Dane restrained with a hold, made me go, yeah, he is a smart dude. He's not just throwing people around, and he knows that he can get he thinks he can outbrain Killian Dane. And I just made a game show. Pepsi fan says, I love this. 2 very underrated big men. Lars versus Braun could draw in the future. This Lars is empty. Yeet. Oh man, I hope people outside the studio are hearing me yeet. But yeah, I was a big fan of this match, and I hope that other than it just being a promo and an excuse for everybody in the ladder match to come out, I hope that we get this match in the future a little bit longer and as a full-on main event. But they went up for something on the, Killian Dane went up for something on the top rope. He ends up headbutting Killian Dane and Lars Sullivan and knocking each other out to the outside of the ring. Out comes Velveteen Dream, gets up on the top rope, is about to drop the Purple Rainmaker onto some folks. Adam Cole, baby, interrupts, and that's when EC3 comes down. The monsters come up. It's a circle of 5, and out, and then all of a sudden, Ricochet's music hits, which is pretty cool, and I hope they put that out on WWE Music before Saturday. And he jumps up, does the flip superhero pose, and somebody correct me, but it looked like Cole said, why did you do that? Like, really? I as much I really am starting to like Cole, and it's the little dickishness, like the small, quiet side stuff, even just the boom is super good, and I'm liking Adam Cole more and more and more in his NXT position. And we've got our 6 as the show goes off the air. Xenohour says, if I'm not mistaken, Ricochet wrestled Dijak for the tapings. They didn't show it. Dijak in place of Bobby Fish in the Dusty Classic tag title match? No. Dijak has his own stuff to do, which we'll talk about in a moment. But yeah, everybody go back and watch it, because it looked like it was a similar moment to the hardcore match in Philadelphia, where Aleister Black dropped the Singapore cane, and Adam Cole went, "You're so stupid, and he just whapped at him. But yeah, that was the final push towards NXT TakeOver New Orleans. We are going to talk a little bit about the card, as well as some of the stuff that's happening on Access. But first, we all love wrestling. We know it's fun. We know that it'll... damn it, Steve. We all love wrestling. We know it's fun. It's a good time. Everybody enjoys it in their own way. But I know that you want to have fun, learn, and grow in all areas of your life. So for those people, I've got a podcast for you. Conversations with Maria Menounos podcast edition is hosted by our AfterBuzz TV founder, and it drops every Friday on iTunes. This Friday, you'll be able to catch a brand new episode, tune into the WWE Network, and watch her host the red carpet for the WWE Hall of Fame, and you may see some familiar faces if you're a fan of AfterBuzz TV shows as well. Conversations with Maria Menounos features celebrity and influencer interviews, along with secrets and tips on how to be better in all aspects of life, from health and wellness to career, relationships, finances, and more. Let our Maria be the big sister you've always wanted. Just go to iTunes and subscribe to Conversations with Maria Menounos for free. Be sure to rate and comment. When you do, let Maria know that it was us, the hashtag NX team, that sent you there. That is Conversations with Maria Menounos podcast edition. Check it out. Now, see, I know people in chat are saying they like fun. I know you like fun. So we're going to start by talking about NXT TakeOver New Orleans. And we got some fun graphics, so for those of you who are watching on video, you'll be able to see some stuff. Let's pop this one in. This is Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa in an unsanctioned match. This is going to be pretty big, pretty hardcore. I do not know where this is going to be on the card. I liked Bill's idea last week of it sort of ending the show, turning off all the graphics, and just being like, it's a match. They're going to beat the crap out of each other. Because I think it may have the strongest story going into the pay-per-view. But who do y'all see winning this one? Who you got? Personally, I think I think Tommaso Ciampa has that extra killer instinct and will go to some places that Johnny Gargano will not be able to. And I'm pretty sure that it will be Tommaso Ciampa that takes the victory. Matt with Style Petite, Ciampa has the squarest beard I have ever seen. Too true. Next match that we have is and take a look at that beautiful North American Championship belt. What are your thoughts on the belt? I think it's beautiful. Brown strap, golden medallions, big round map of North America in the center with the interchangeable side plates as well. I love it. I'm a big fan of this belt. This is a ladder match featuring Adam Cole, Velveteen Dream, Killian Dane, Lars Sullivan, Ricochet, and E3. Man, this is going to be huge. I think this is going to start the show, and maybe in the middle of the show is where the tag team title match will go. But for this, there are too many favorites. They just loaded this with a whole bunch of favorites. I would be happy if anybody won. I think moving forward for Undisputed Era, I think Adam Cole being a double champion by the end of the night is awesome. But I think EC3 coming in, winning in his first match, and making it, I would like to think that the North American Championship and EC3 are the two things that you should associate with. Because there was a time where everybody would associate the NXT Championship with Finn Balor, just because he had it for quite some time during NXT's rise, and especially with the classic X belt. Or is there a cruiserweight that you identify with for that championship? You know, sometimes when it comes to a championship, you identify, or like Chris Jericho with the Intercontinental title. Yeah. So I figure, I think for EC3, this could be the match that, I mean, even all these guys are huge on the map, but I think EC3 could take it, and I think he will. I wouldn't be happy, or rather, I would be happy if anybody won this match. Because I think it's going to be a baller, and I love all of these competitors. So I'm really looking forward to it. This has quite the opportunity to steal the weekend. Next match, please. Whew, this is our NXT Tag Team Championship triple threat match. This graphic not as clean because they didn't release one. So we've got Undisputed Era versus the Authors of Pain versus Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne. I really don't know, man. I think Undisputed Era should take it because then that's if Adam Cole wins the North American Championship, they have the Tag Team Championships and the Dusty Cup. Like, that's huge and sort of proves their ethos. And it's going to be wild. It's going to be absolutely wild. But I already talked about this a little bit more earlier in the show, so I'm going to skip it. Move on to the next match, if you'd be so kind. Shayna Baszler versus Ember Moon for the NXT Women's Championship. You got to take Shayna Baszler, you know. She literally has a killer's instinct and will break Ember Moon any way that she sees fit. And that was gross. And I don't think, I think Ember, for all of the good intention that she has, I don't know if she can stand up to it this time. I really don't. Especially after last time. I don't think Shayna's going to let anything slide. Like a backslide. That was dumb. And then our main event of the evening, our next match, Andrade Cien Almas versus Aleister Black. If you told me this main event, like for Brooklyn, I'd be like, okay, all right. It's a completely different landscape. This will be a year to the takeover that we saw Aleister Black debut, and him going for the NXT Championship makes a whole bunch of sense. And this is going to, I'm so excited just because Almas and Gargano was such a surprise and a delight that I do not know what to expect from this. I don't know what to expect from Almas. We've seen him in tip-top form. We've seen Aleister Black in tip-top form. And it could go either way, but because I could see Almas being a strong champion for a little while longer. Because I don't know where he would fit on the main roster right now. I don't want to see him go to 205 Live because I think he can do more than quote just being on 205 Live. Though 205 Live it's not filled with slouches or anything. But yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't. If Aleister hits the fade to black, then that's it. Then it's going to be that. I don't think we're going to have anybody kick out of the fade to black yet. And if we do, it's not going to be Andrade Almas. But yeah, I don't know, dude. It can go either way. I like both of these guys. I'm super stoked for Andrade's future, but the fact that I can see it going both ways, super, super excited. Pepsi Fan 24 says, dude, having experienced Gargano Almas in person, Almas has my eternal respect as a performer, but I got to give this one to Aleister. Okay, that's respect. I totally understand that. Regardless, I'm super stoked. This entire show is going to be really cool. And that's another thing, is if Almas wins, then when Drew McIntyre returns, when Drew McIntyre returns to NXT, we can get that revenge match before we go. So DQ, really? I don't know. I don't know if they haven't done it yet. If there's a place to do it, it would be here. It would be a dick move. I would say if Ciampa and Gargano ends the show, then then yeah, I could see it ending in DQ. That's a good call. That's a good call. All right, so that's TakeOver. But something that was announced this week is we are going to be seeing a series of tournaments at WWE Access. For those of you who are going to New Orleans starting tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow? Jeez, yeah, tomorrow's Thursday. Starting tomorrow, we are going to be seeing a series of tournaments. And for my beautiful engineer, Steve, that is the next series of images. Let's take a look at these. The first one we're going to look at is for the North American Championship. Some of these matches, wow. Fabian Eichner, and these are all in alignment with Evolve. So Evolve is sending folks in to compete in these various tournaments. So we're seeing Fabian Eichner versus Jason Kincaid, Akira Tozawa versus Kona Reeves. We were just talking about him. I think Akira Tozawa is going to get his head kicked off. Chris Dijak versus Arya Daivari, and Hideo Itami versus Wolfgang. Wow. I really want to see that match. Holy crap. I really hope that these will become available or watchable on the WWE Network in some way, shape, or form, because Hideo Itami versus Wolfgang sounds really interesting. Dijak and Daivari sounds really interesting. Eichner and Kincaid sounds very interesting. And Tozawa and Kona Reeves sounds very interesting. So the winner will face the North American champion at Access. So I would hope that they record it for something. But wow. Yes, Kona Reeves is the well, I think they're billing him as from Hawaii, not American Samoa. Let's go to the next one. That is the NXT Tag Team Champions. Okay, so he was hurt a couple weeks ago, but he's not hurt now. Mustache Mountain, Trent Seven, and Tyler Bate are going to be taking on Tino Sabatelli and Riddick Moss. And then Street Profits versus Cesar Bononi and Adrian Jaoud. Sanity versus the Forgotten Sons. And then TM61 versus Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch. Now, one of the things that I was a little upset about is Oni Lorcan did like his own Scrum interview. And it was an open challenge from him and Danny to anybody. It's like, we'll take you on at Access. And then seeing these brackets, it's like, oh, so TM61 is that's who it's gonna be. But they talked about being ready for War. So I mean, there's also a lot of other matches that are hopefully going to be happening during Access, and I wonder if that means we're going to be seeing War Machine versus Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch. Yeah, it's another great thing. They're going to be facing the tag team champions on Sunday, but I don't know who's got this one. It'll be interesting to see the Forgotten Sons debut a little bit more on TV. Next one should be the United Kingdom Championship. Yes, it is. Lio Rush versus Buddy Murphy. Okay. Especially after Buddy Murphy's performance this past Tuesday on 205 Live, that should be interesting. Lince Dorado versus Raul Mendoza. Dan Matha, the returning Dan Matha versus Drew Gulak, and then Mark Andrews versus Zach Gibson will be facing Pete Dunne on Sunday. Now, considering that one of these dudes is from the UK, I would really like to see them win it. But I think Lio Rush versus Pete Dunne as an Access match would be so hyped. I think it's entirely possible that Lio could go all the way. But Lince Dorado's no slouch. Man. Woohoo! And then last one is for the NXT Championship. I'm sorry, the NXT Women's Championship. And it's going to be Nikki Cross versus Aaliyah in round 1. Dakota Kai versus Lacey Evans. Kairi Sane versus Bianca Belair, which I want to see again. And then Peyton Royce versus Candice LeRae. Really excited to see that match. I really do hope that they televise these in some way, shape, or form, or they record them and they show them later. But then, why would you pay for Access if you don't get to see these matches live? Anyway, if they could release them on DVD or something like that, I would be really into it. But somebody asked, "Are you hyped for the Hall of Fame?" I'm pretty hyped for the Hall of Fame. I've been to a couple of the events in a couple of different ways, so it's different. The the electricity in the room. I'm done with graphics, by the way, Steve. The electricity in the room is way different than watching it on screen. And sometimes fans can be a little bit too chanty, but they're just trying to be nice because they want to give people respect. But like, one thing that I kind of won't forgive people on, the fans on, is when Bob Backlund was being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and he was being inducted by Maria Menounos, and that was Bob's decision. Bob and Maria and Keven are friends, and they go back a ways, and so being able to see Maria give the speech and have people boo her off, I couldn't stand that, and it was one of those things that that made me sort of lose faith in wrestling fans as a whole. And I think that there's an opportunity for wrestling fans to be better and show respect to the people that are there. That being said, hey, Kid Rock's being inducted. Aside from that, in terms of the last sort of bit of the show that I wanted to use the time for, wow, how did that happen? The last little bit that I wanted to use the time for is to let you know where you can find AfterBuzz TV Wrestling at WrestleMania weekend. Now, we have Gabby, Denise, and Ty, as well as the Hobo, and Bill is there for Uprocks, are going to be around the area and reporting on various things, whether that's WrestleCon, whether that's Access, whether that's the Hall of Fame. You're going to see some folks at the Hall of Fame, or they're going to be live tweeting from WrestleMania, from TakeOver, from all of these different events. Also, you make sure to support Maria on Twitter during the Hall of Fame red carpet. She is hosting. Make sure you let her know that the NXT team sent you, not just for Conversations with Maria Menounos podcast edition, which you can download now on iTunes or your podcast outlet of choice. But yeah, I'm excited for the Hall of Fame. I'm excited for the weekend. For myself, I am going to be following Sean X-Pac Waltman around with a camera, and we are going to be getting material for X-Pac 12360. So that means primarily I'm going to be at WrestleCon because that's where a lot of Sean's appearances are. But Saturday morning for Sean's Access signing, I will be there with him. I'm not going to be at the bloody table with him, but I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna have a camera. Jimbo's gonna be there as well. He's gonna have a camera. And if you're going to Access, I guess he didn't show up in chat. He was gonna try. Hobo's on Bourbon Street right now, and I told him to come and chat, but I guess he didn't. Dork. But yeah. If you're going to be at WrestleMania or in the New Orleans area, and you're going to any of these events, please make sure to follow everybody on Twitter to know when and where stuff is going to be happening. Follow Sean Waltman at The Real X-Pac if you don't already. Follow Jimbo at Jimbo in the Booth. Follow me at Mark B. Donica. Follow Hobo at True Hobo. _ Denise Salcedo. Ty Matthews PMA. And I don't know Gabby's offline. Offhand. And I apologize. I don't know Gabby too much. But we're all going to be there. We're all going to be live tweeting from various events. Some people are going to just WWE stuff. Some people are going to other things. But if you want to get sort of like a firsthand look at that stuff, I would or behind the scenes look at all that stuff, I would make sure to follow Sean, Jimbo, and myself, because there are a couple of things that we are doing that I really hope that we can talk about pretty soon. But aside from that, this has been a lot better of a solo show than I thought, mostly because I probably really enjoy the sound of my own voice. But thank you to everybody. Bradley Tucker. Jesus, you can't just throw that at a man. That really threw me off. Cody Ray 119. Hi, I don't recognize you, but hello. Welcome to the show. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure everybody subscribes, because we have wonderful wrestling programming almost every day of the week. When there's a pay-per-view, we got stuff on Sundays. Monday Night Raw, we do a show every week. Tuesday Night SmackDown, we do a show every week. NXT, Wednesday nights, we do a show every week. We have two other shows on Wednesday. We've got X-Pac 12360 with Sean X-Pac Waltman, future Hall of Famer. Great guests every week. We talk about the news. We talk to guests. This week we had Cody Rhodes. of hashtag Bullet Club is fine. And we hope to be talking to a lot of folks at WrestleMania. We also have a newer show, Women's Pro Wrestling Weekly, which is a show for women by women, and it's got a wonderful group of people behind it. I highly recommend it. But man, I got another show to do and I gotta talk. So WrestleMania weekend, there's a lot of great stuff happening in terms of myself, Bill, and Hobo's coverage of TakeOver New Orleans. Follow us on Twitter, because we're going to be live tweeting it. And in terms of an actual after show, we're going to try. We're really, really going to try to make it work. But we may not be able to do it until after the fact. Because Bill's going to be staying in New Orleans for a little bit longer. Hobo's coming back Tuesday. I'm coming back Monday. So we don't really have like an opportunity to record, and it's just going to be wall to wall business. Marie, I hope to see you at SummerSlam this year. To be perfectly honest, Marie, I probably not. I would really like to, but it would have to be something really big, just because I have a lot of stuff coming up personally for myself, and I'll shout a couple of those out. We can hit the music and start wrapping up. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at Mark Donica if you want a glimpse of some of that stuff. One, here through the AfterBuzz TV studios, I have a gaming talk show with a wonderful panel of folks called Inventory Full. We air the show Mondays on Twitch. Twitch.tv/inventoryfullpt. We also stream games. I've streamed WWE stuff there on there before, and if I wasn't flying out tomorrow, I would probably be doing a lot of that over the weekend. So follow that if you're a gamer. For AfterBuzz TV specifically, I do this show. I also do a show called Rooster Teeth Reviews, where if you're a fan of animation, if you're a fan of the Rooster Teeth brand, head over to AfterBuzz TV Animation to watch the live shows. We're going to be live in just a few minutes covering their new show, Nomad of Nowhere. It's a wonderful time with another wonderful panel, and we're going to be covering RTX this year in August, so make sure to stay tuned for some of that. And Collider. I recently started doing some stuff with Collider. My WrestleMania moment is this Friday. I am in the Schmodown Trivia League. I am in the Inner Geekdom division, and I have a #1 contendership match for the title this Friday against Jared Habon of The Bachelor fame. So I'm going to be tweeting up a storm about it, so follow me at Mark Donica. You'll be able to watch it. I do some character stuff. It's a lot of fun, and I hope to be doing more stuff with Collider. I work over at Geek and Sun. Actually, oh no, I can't announce that. Might have buried the lead with that, but please stay tuned to my Twitter. I'm working on something with Geek and Sundry. If you are a wrestling fan, you will not want to miss out, and I will need your support in the live chat if you are a Twitch person. So please stay tuned to Geek and Sundry. Stay tuned to my Twitter stuff, because in a couple of weeks I'll have a lot of things to talk about. And aside from that, NXteam.spreadshirt.com. That helps support us here and might buy us a coffee down on Bourbon Street. So if you do us a favor, head over to NXteam.spreadshirt.com. All of that stuff goes directly to us, and it helps support us here on the show to do stuff like go to New Orleans, do stuff like go to New York, and we really appreciate your business. Aside from that, I think that's going to do it for this episode of the NXT After Show. Please subscribe if you're not on iTunes and on YouTube, and follow all of us here at AfterBuzz TV. We are going to be live tweeting from NXT TakeOver. We're going to be live tweeting from WrestleMania, as well as some adventures throughout the week. If we see some old folks from AfterBuzz TV, we'll make sure to let them know you say hey, and maybe post a picture or a video or 2 or 3. And in that regard, follow Kathy Kelly, follow Sonya Deville. Thank you so much for everybody for joining me on this show. We will see you in New Orleans.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
We're going to buzz you later from New Orleans.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.